If you think about the difficult times we have had in recent years, does dealing with those difficulties depend more on the outside circumstances or on the processes inside of us? You might say it's both. Well, how about resilience then? What about the psychological strength to cope with the stress and hardship? With the resilience, it's clear that it depends on the inside, our ability and skills to manage our emotions, stress, thoughts, focus. And enhancing those practical skills is exactly the mission that we are contributing to, me and my team in Minutes of Stillness. Minutes of Stillness is a non-governmental organization in Estonia. It was created 8 years ago, and our mission is to teach practical and evidence-based skills to better deal with stress, emotions, and issues of focusing. And it's based on mindfulness, which is basically the art of directing one's attention. I remember clearly how 8 years ago I was working in the University of Tartu, and my job was to inspire schools and teachers on the subject of values, values education, how to make conscious choices based on values. And I started to hear more and more about the problematics of mental health. And actually, I realized that all this talking about values and conscious choices, it remains just empty words if it's not cared for, like the psychological well-being of children. It has to be cared for. And I realized that this is actually the subject that needs my attention and my contribution. Because the teachers, it was left to the teachers, but they cannot just magically do it. They need practical skills. They need the practical tools. And just to give you a glimpse of the statistics in Estonia, so that you can get an idea. It's every third child in Estonia had a long depressive episode during the latest 12 months. It means more than 2 weeks of not being able to do normal everyday activities, feeling so low, feeling so depressed. And in some age groups, it's even worse. More than half of 15-year-old girls have had this depressive episode. And every fifth of 13 to 15-year-olds has thought about suicide within the last 1 year. So 8 years ago, a lot of people were pointing at this, but this was just left to teachers. But as I said, teachers need practical tools. And actually, I was not the only one who realized this. There were other experts around Estonia who realized, based on their experience and research, that this problem of mental health can be cured with short exercises of mindfulness and mindfulness skills. And we chose the road of cooperation. Actually, it was not easy at the start, but maybe you know the old African saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we chose far. And we have developed a thorough and effective program, which nevertheless is really simple for the teacher to start using. At the beginning, one can just use short mindfulness exercises during the lessons of math, biology, languages, whatever, and children can focus better after those exercises that take only a few minutes. And they also learn how to direct their attention purposefully, and they learn about the processes inside of them. So how to manage emotions and so on. They also learn how to rest effectively and how to take care of their stress levels. And as the teachers can use those exercises regularly, it creates a habit. And we could never teach all the students ourselves. So we can scale up when we teach the teachers. Currently, we have 15 plus 41 trainers, so around about 50 altogether. And they are fulfilling this mission of ours and teach those practical and evidence-based skills. But our larger goal is that those practical skills to support one's psychological well-being should be widely used in the society so that everyone can be more caring for themselves and others. And although education is the most effective way to bring about change in the society, still our actions have a wider scope. So we don't teach only teachers, we teach also parents who can support mental health in family. We teach healthcare professionals who can support their patients, and entrepreneurs, leaders, everyone who has a high stress level. Do you know anyone who has high stress level? I do. So how many have we reached? More than 15,000 people have taken part in the different trainings of Minutes of Stillness. More than 6,000 teachers have taken part in the longer courses that are around 2 months and have several different supportive elements. And through them, around 75,000 children have experienced this method. And in the field of education, we have spread quite widely across Estonia. If you look at those colored markers that represent our different trainings in schools and kindergartens. And if we look at the numbers, then I'm quite proud to say that with those longer courses, we have reached about a quarter of Estonian schools and 100 kindergartens. And we have a systematic long-term program of shaping practical skills and habits and organizational culture. We have it about 2 years, and it's used in 12 educational institutes. We are also really proud that we have an evidence-based program, and the most thorough research was conducted by the University of Tartu. It's quite rigorous with an active control group and random sampling. It was also quite a challenge for our team in terms of communication and also financially. And most interesting part of this research is objective measuring instrument. Children really gave blood samples which were analyzed, the stress levels were analyzed in cooperation with University of Uppsala. So what were the effects on stress levels? Well, the measurings were done in autumn from September to November. And what do you think happens to stress levels from September to November usually? Yeah, they rise significantly, as we know from our own experience. And they did so in the control group. But at the same time, in the classes where Minutes of Stillness was used, the stress levels actually decreased. And you can take a moment to think about this result. Because what areas of life does high stress actually affect? Does it, for example, disturb learning, focusing? Yeah, many people even say that stress is the main enemy of studying. Also, it can affect relationships. It definitely reduces well-being and happiness. And physiological stress, it may also affect physical health, falling ill and the ability to recover. Now, the second outcome, there was less exhaustion and fatigue in those classes among the students who did the mindfulness exercises every day compared to the control group. And this is actually really intriguing because the control group had the same amount of time for just resting without their smartphones, just resting, feeling at ease, maybe listening to some short stories, but nevertheless, their exhaustion levels rose. And it remained significantly higher even 4 months after the program ended. This is an important result also for the mental health prevention because it's exhaustion that usually precedes other problems like severe burnout, depression, and others. And if the fatigue levels stay high, then the other serious problems may follow, but we can prevent that. And the third outcome is actually also about mental health, and there were less symptoms of anxiety and panic attacks in those schools where the exercises were done a bit longer. It was actually only 2 minutes longer, so we could say that every minute counts. As with adding only 2 minutes, we already observed considerably lower levels of anxiety. So these were the results of children, but also the teachers were measured with questionnaires. And as you look at the results, I want to highlight the second one, which was most important for teachers themselves. As they noticed, they managed their emotions better, also in the stressful and tense situations, and improved attentiveness, which is a mindfulness scale, and this is correlated highly with psychological well-being and anxiety and depression. So I would interpret this result as a result of the mental health of the teachers. And to sum up, here are a few words about our financial model as well. Minutes of Stillness is a non-profit organization. We are strongly motivated by our mission. Nevertheless, we earn income from selling our courses and teaching self-management skills to schools, kindergartens, but also everyone, whoever wants to better manage their stress, emotions, attention. And for the last 4 years, we have been a strategic partner to the Ministry of Education and Research in Estonia. And this is really important, like financial stability for us and for the research. But nevertheless, we need further funding and, for example, projects of different size and shape. Last but not least, sponsors are of exceptional importance to us. There are entrepreneurs who really care and who want to contribute to the solution of mental health crisis among our youth. So, stress, exhaustion, and anxiety, they are really widespread, and it's essential to prevent more serious health problems. Prevention is actually also cheaper for the state. It's much more cost-effective to prevent the problems rather than to deal with the consequences. Our systematic program in schools and kindergartens is based on the research that I introduced today. And it allows prevention of mental health problems by teaching self-management skills. We raise donations to support kindergartens and schools who are willing and motivated to promote mental health skills with our evidence-based program, which reduces stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. And it all comes down to minutes. Every minute counts. Every minute of effective resting and stress management has a positive effect. So minutes do matter. Minutes of stillness matter. Actually, more than stillness, it's awareness that matters. Awareness enables choice, so that you can choose your response rather than just react. And this fosters resilience. So I really encourage you to pay attention to minutes. Use them wisely and find ways to really use them for your own well-being too. Thank you.